with stars or something.
Yeah, that's not like it.
Just gonna watch The Bachelor.
Oh, NCIS is on too.
Is that camera on?
It should be.
If it's not, I
Oh, you want
You'll
this
comment.
Yes, it is.
Okay, seeing as it's 6:30, I'll call to order the planning board meeting for January 8th, 2013. I will admit I'm out of practice on this, I've done it once. Our first step is, thank you, prod me along here. would you
You're
guys?
gonna open the public hearing.
No, okay, yeah, let's say, call to order, I'd like to open this to a public hearing on the zoning regulation changes for 2013 to define setbacks, off-street parking regulations, and wetland delineations. Does anyone from the public have anything to say?
Do you have a copy of our,
I do.
I'm gonna give him one, right?
okay?
I think. Setback, off-street parking, what was the other one?
The
Wetlands.
wetlands thing from the subdivision.
I guess I don't have mine all together here.
I'll make a copy of mine.
Oh, did I put them on the table there?
You
Yes,
have-
there are a couple on the table there.
Yeah.
Right there, Bob, right in front. Yeah, right there, Elaine. Hand that back to Bob. Yeah. Yes, it does, huh?
I was gonna say, if we wanna give Mr. Brown a few minutes to look over those, so if he has anything he wants to add. I can tell you that, Jane and Dennis Allen and myself met with Mike Izard regarding the highway methodology for the impact fees. And apparently, there's been some changes. They made a change to the RSA that would have to do with this. And Mike Izard was explaining everything to us as far as there is a question as to the legality of how far we can go with impact fees on roads. But, and they all seem, he said, and even I received a municipal update from Bernie Wall, which is another one of the attorney groups that we've used. And like he ends up down here saying, utilizing this new law is fairly risky unless a town gets a green light from its own attorney on a specific case. So anyway, I did talk with the selectmen today. We had a meeting, and I'm contacting our attorney to sit down with him and to go over everything that Jane and I and Dennis learned from Mike Izard to make sure that adopting this methodology will prove worthwhile. Maybe someday, but right now it would appear that the only thing that the methodology could possibly be used for would be if, say, a development were coming in, and this is kind of a rub, and I'll explain why in a minute. If you needed the roads to be widened or turning lanes put in, stuff like that, then you could, in fact, put a fee against, some kind of an impact fee and charge each developer their percent of what that would be. But generally in the past, because the RSAs allows planning boards to assess off-site fees for work that has to be done, so we don't need impact fees or anything else. And generally, if a large site plan or subdivision were coming in, say for a residential area, we as the planning board would require, if we needed roads, we would require the roads be put in by the developer. And they would bore 100% of the cost through a planning board approval.
I think they're already signed it.
So to have the ability to charge impact fees for something that would just make them pick up the whole cost for, and this is where it, it gets into, because we have that ability to do that. The RSAs allow that to happen. That's about all. A lot of the things that we used to the RSAs were changed to where then you needed impact fees in order to get the money. But anyway, all I'm really doing is we're going to the attorney to just find out, because he would be more than likely the one that would defend any case that would come up against us, you know, for something we might have done. And to see how he feels about it and see if it's worthwhile at this point to move forward with the highway methodology, or if we should just wait, because maybe someday in the future, you know, when you're fully developed and there's a lot going on here, there might be more, you might be more apt to be able to use impact fees for highways. But right now, it's pretty specific that it has to be a new capital cost. In other words, normal maintenance of roads and normal maintenance of drainage and things like that, you can't charge impact fees for. So there are questions. So we're going to meet with him, talk to him about it, and then obviously we'll bring everything back to the board. We'll talk about what's what it will mean, and whether or not at this point you want to go forward with the impact for highways, or, you know, would our time and money be better served, you know, picking something else to go for. So, but it would not remove the ability to have capital improvement programs set up for highways, which he already has been doing himself anyway, you know, so that when it's time to do these maintenance and reclaiming of roads and stuff, he will have the monies to do it. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to date on that. So, we did not tell Mike Izzard, we did not give him an answer other than the fact that we would do research and bring our information to the board, and then we can, you know, make a decision based on that. So, anyway, did you have a chance to look through?
I did. I like them. I think they're well thought out and seem to be appropriate for the way things are going on these days, especially
Right.
with Bernard.
With that one, yeah.
What I missed. Good defensive move on your part. No, I'm only kidding. No, these seem excellent.
Oh, good, I'm glad you like it. I think that we were all very happy with the parking. It's simple, but it's very comprehensive, and,
It is, yep.
you know, as time goes on, if we find that we need more than this, it's always, would you like to?
I would, I'm sorry.
Right there,
This one, thank you.
yeah. That it certainly could be expounded, you know,
Right.
expanded, but
That's a great start. It's
Yeah.
something we needed all along.
pretty much covers
Mhm.
every question you'd want and gives directions, but,
Great job.
and we even gave an example, those are minutes. Would you like a copy
Yes.
too?
Oh, get your copy.
Yeah, I'll just read all the John.
Oh,
Thank you.
so,
Yeah, I read through that. I covered, I tried to find some items that would not have been covered under this. And
right.
it did in the great.
It pretty much gives us a good guide and outline, and with being able to, you know, with the sample on there, so that there couldn't be any miscommunication of any kind, you know, it,
Yeah. Yeah, they're very comprehensive and inclusive.
but yet it's simple and easy to read.
The only other comment, not related to this, but related to zoning, that I might interject if I can,
Mm-hmm.
is that I got to thinking Sunday when I was reading the paper about the year 2000 when we drafted, I think it's 11.9 and Article 12 in the ordinance now, to head up, you know, to prepare ourselves for new technology coming down the road, possible nuisances. I think both of those, I'm referring to cellular towers at the time,
Mm-hmm.
which was moving up in our direction, and sexually oriented businesses, which were an
Yeah.
obvious threat at that time as well. We haven't had a problem with those, but we were prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have technology moving in on us again in the form of wind turbines.
Right.
And there was a huge article on that, and that's what triggered my thoughts on that maybe it's time to think about putting together something for the town of Tilton,
I agree with
in
you.
preparation
That's a very
for
good idea.
even homeowner type turbines, you know.
Yep.
Because some of those can be noisy and obnoxious
Sure.
as well.
Did
And
you see
who
the
knows
news
where we're
tonight?
going with that, but,
Yep,
you know, it might be time to start researching and thinking about it.
no question about it. I
Well, the
think
state
you're
has what,
100%
3
right.
wind farms going in now that are either in or approved?
Well, we have 3 of them in the state now.
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah.
I'm not talking, you know, necessarily about wind farms, you know,
Right.
if you have a mountainous country that handles
Yeah,
it.
we don't really have it much here, but individual homeowners
Right.
and farms could start putting.
And I don't have a problem, you know, I have nothing
Yep.
against that, but there should be some, you know, something there for
Right,
fall radiuses or anything like that. could-
well,
could
that's the
occur.
thing, you know,
Noise too, there's a decimal,
Noise.
there is a noise related
Yeah.
to the.
So-
noise and the fall, just like we had on the towers, fall radius and stuff.
Conceptual
Well, that
meeting
was my only
done,
other-
so
Yeah.
I notified the
But
abutters.
tonight in the news, in Saugus, Mass, they put in
I
a
knew
wood
this
tower
was coming, but
to help the town, and people are complaining because it's so close to the houses.
Yeah.
They can't sleep, and
Can't sleep.
and the blades going by are affecting the light coming in the house, so it's flickering like, you know, all the time. So they have to leave when
That could
the
drive you crazy.
lights in certain areas, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and of course wildlife is suffering from it also.
Mhm. We have one next to us, a small one,
School for the last 4 years.
and it sings in the winter, sings.
Initially,
It sounds like a generator.
It does what?
It
Well,
sounds
is-
like a generator
It is a
running.
generator.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's the way the blades hit us.
Yes, we do.
I kept saying, who's coming?
Did you wanna look at one? Would you like to look at one? All right, we have this other thing, we might as well talk about this too. We received this on definitions from Catherine Dawson. She was asking that the board consider these definitions that she has taken out of the, looks like the RSA's. One on dwelling and household dwelling unit, permanent resident, hotel, structure, and accessory structure. And then she has in here under definitions for, under airports. So it would include airport, airport hazard. So I'm not really sure if she meant to include that or if it just was on the bottom part of the page that she made a copy of. I mean, I looked through our definitions that we have, and we already have most of these definitions, not that the ones she has given us might not be better, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that, you know, we should look over them, and if you want to consider what she has given us as a consideration, then we should include it so we can make it part of the second public hearing. So I don't know if you all read the email or not.
I think some of it, she wanted to clarify because of some of the issues they're having with the cottages and stuff.
Right, well, I realize that some of this would go into, she's writing an ordinance, for, you know, we have the one that we've written that's the quality of life and, you know, what is acceptable, what's acceptable as a living unit and what's not. We have, unfortunately, a few people in the town, and I'm gonna say just a few, but they're renting out very poor excuses for rental. And, you know, that they can't even maintain warmth in the wintertime. But just so that they can send these people to the town to apply for welfare vouchers in order to, for the owner of the property to get rent. So we're trying to, it would be not only protecting the town, but it would also be protecting the people that need the help the most.
Absolutely.
So,
Also, they're not paying rooms and meals tax on some of these rentals
Yes.
either.
so anyway, I don't know what you guys wanna do with these, but they seem, I mean, they're all,
Are these pulled right from state RSA's?
well, some of them say New Hampshire RSA, I'm not sure about these up
This
here.
is RSA 7.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
certain stuff.
that one is, but,
This is-
the top part of the page, I'm not sure where that came from. But it might very well go along with the ordinance that she's writing for the standards, housing standards. So, I mean, I see nothing wrong with, you know, if these definitions would help to make the housing standards, easier to enforce. I have no objections to them. You know, we'd certainly include them in our public hearing.
Yeah, no,
Did you guys wanna see a copy of those? I think we have a couple copies here.
Why under structures? I'm assuming structure would mean that they would need a permit for it.
Can you hand me one too? 'Cause
If
I
that's the
took mine
case, why would we have tents
on
on
the
the
board
board?
on the
Thank
table.
you. Linda,
We just wanna add one down.
you got one?
I got one.
Tent, put them down. Every time someone wants to put a tent in their
And
backyard, they
structure,
have
it's
to put
any object construction, manufacturing, installed by movers.
I mean, we have a definition of structure, but it's fairly simple by comparison. We just have any object constructed or installed by man, including such objects, although regulated or licensed by other provisions of the law. And this would just, you know, give it more,
yeah.
any object constructed,
But,
manufactured, installed by humans as opposed to that occurring in nature. And then it goes on to say including buildings, parking lots, driveways, stadiums, reviewing stands, platforms, blah, 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 blah.
But the, page one of her emails is to,
To eliminate,
alludes to excluding fences.
yes,
I saw in Hudson, they had an ordinance, and this is like at least 15 years ago. You had a 3-foot setback
yeah,
for fences
yeah,
for either property, so you had
like a 6-foot
you had
pathway.
6 feet pathways between houses when people put up fences.
Right. Well, the only thing in, I think the RSA, the only thing we ever said to anyone coming in that wanted to know about putting up a fence was, at least leave yourself enough room to where you know you're not on your neighbor's property, and it gives you a little space for going around if you have to do maintenance, because if you and your neighbor aren't on speaking terms, he's not going to let you get away with standing on his lawn while you work on your own fence. But, you know, that's all we ever required. And, you know, for that very reason, because otherwise you end up with these dead man spaces in between.
Yeah, I gave great places for rodents and dogs to run.
Yeah,
And kids.
and kids,
And kids.
and, you know, off the road
That's all about
vehicles and things like that.
And people, today, people hiding behind them so that they can get away
But
from it.
if you think about that, that doesn't work, right? Because you can't have this 6-foot swath. I mean, people wanna prevent people from cutting through their yards, right?
Right.
So it doesn't work.
Well, some towns though, they did, when I was doing research on the setbacks, I was amazed at the number of towns that made fencing, you had X number of feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, whatever it was, from your boundary line. Well now, if you're in a neighborhood where everybody's put up a fence, you end up with these wide swaths of land, or no man's land, if
Right.
you will, the land located between the fence. And I could see to where that would become quite a problem. I mean, what does that become, like little throughways for, you know, off-road vehicles and kids and dogs and,
Well, you know, or other people wouldn't put up their other fence and just take 3 feet from their neighbor.
yeah. And
Huh.
eventually,
Yeah, right.
you know,
Right.
yeah,
If
So-
once you have one, yeah. I don't know.
but that's the
Yeah,
only
that maybe
thing,
utilities needs to be excluded
yes,
from the definition.
yeah. And it is covered in the RSA's already, there's a whole section just on fencing in the RSA, so.
Accessory structure would supersede the definition you have right now for
Yes, yes.
accessory building.
Nah, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
It says basically the same thing.
Yes, it does.
Think it-
No, I would assume that if we were to adopt these, they would be replacing what we already had.
No, wait a minute, I just
Yeah.
got a tenant that I hear what
Yeah,
you're
the
saying.
definition needs to
I
be,
mean, it really does.
that needs to be looked at a little bit more.
think so,
Which one?
but I think what we
The
can do
accessory
is,
structure.
This is where we're going in.
we can go ahead and set up a public hearing, just because it's part of a public hearing, you know, you may, when you vote to what you're going to carry forward or not carry forward, you know, at that time, during the second public hearing, we can certainly. And it will also, in the meantime, I will, you know, talk with Catherine and see, you know, are these directly related, is this what she needs as far as the ordinance is being done already in housing?
Is there any other public input on the zoning regulation changes?
Well, you could leave it open if you want, you don't have to close this yet.
Okay. Leave that open then.
Just go on.
So that was asking for public input on anything that was discussed here, or?
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad that we're doing something about parking. It's been a whirlwind. You know, I've looked at some other towns that have parking regulations, and it seems like you copied it, or whoever put them together kind of copied some of the other towns that I was reading. Is that where they came up with the?
it's like you get ideas from some, it's like, yes, I like the way they've done that, that's easy to read, you know, or, well, that didn't really pertain to us, but, oh, now this would. You know, so you get ideas, that's why you go out there and you look at them, you know, but, and then make it fit your town.
Yeah, I think that they're pretty liberal and they work fine. Restaurant, I question the way you're doing it with seats, but
Well, generally speaking though, even if you look in the big books that they have on this, they usually do go by the number of seats for
not by
restaurants.
tables, by seats.
By
Okay.
seats,
Right.
yes,
Seating, yeah.
Okay.
And most people dine together,
right.
you know, husband and
Yeah.
wife go out, so, you know, one space for the husband and wife.
I don't think it's totally unreasonable, I'm just putting it out there. And then, I thought, well, had there been any discussion, again, about the setbacks that you have, and some of them really are not really functioning setbacks? It doesn't seem like that was addressed today.
The setbacks are primarily what they are, whether or not the board wants to change the overall width. The setbacks in the particular area where you bought property, most of the lots, that is for the larger retail, and there were just a few small lots left
I
in the
agree.
district.
Yep.
But for the large retail, it works very well to have that kind of space because it gives you an area where utilities are run, it gives you an area of separations, so that you're not, you know, and like at Kohl's, you know, they used that area over there, they have that green space, but it also gives them space and a little bit, it leaves some green space around all that sea of concrete and blacktop. That's the primary reason. When the ordinance was written, obviously we knew that there were a few small, that little strip of small lots on each side, and we knew that those would be coming in for variance because of the setback. I mean, like your lot you're going to be doing tonight, you'd have, what, about 8 feet left
I
in the
do,
middle.
yes, that's right.
If you, so, I mean, we knew that was coming, but you also have to understand that although we may be very sympathetic to your cause, we as a planning board don't have the authority to change the rules in zoning.
I agree,
So that's why the zoning board gets involved in cases such as that. You know, and as we've tried to do in the past, I have nothing against going to the zoning board and saying, well, with this particular lot, this is a hardship, you know, because he's got 8 feet in the middle for a long skinny building, and that's it. But to change that, I mean, I think most of the people that were on the committee that did write the ordinances for that particular time, their ideal was when all these big businesses went in around exit 20, that there be a green space left. There be areas that if the place were crowded, it would give you a no man's land, if you will, for the movement of emergency equipment, anything like that that might be needed. I mean, and the fact that it gives you a little bit of separation between one large and the next large.
Fair enough.
So that's primarily why it was done. And I mean, it wasn't done with the idea, well, I know John Bernard's gonna buy some small lots and we're gonna be able to really.
It's very sensitive.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was around at that time and opposed us having any kind of zoning
Yeah.
regulations at all.
Yeah.
yeah, so I was trying to have it thrown out completely, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, they left it for myself. Not true, I really think that there's,
Yeah. There is a reason for zoning, and I mean, you know, I've been around the town a long time, and I honestly feel that for the most part, all the boards I've ever been involved with were not involved because they wanted to overly restrict things.
No.
But we want our community to still have a nice look, we want it to be cohesive, we want it to flow, have a nice rhythm to it. And if you have no rules and regulations, you end up with a real mess. And once the mess is there, how do you clean it up? And I mean, I know that zoning in general is a restriction against the property owner. But the trade-off is when you're done, hopefully, what you have standing is very pleasing and, you know, is easy to maneuver around and to use. And that's primarily what it is. I mean, you know, and we're trying to make it work for everybody, but
I'm all good.
Alright, so we can leave the public hearing portion open for now and move on to the next case.
okay.
Planning board case 1301, site plan review. Applicant is looking to build a deli restaurant on the property located at 215 Laconia Road in the Regional Commercial District. Tax map R22 lot 4. I'll have those plans in front of us.
I'm gonna bring some other plans up and you can review if you're interested in.
Really different from this.
A couple little changes on that I had received yesterday from engineering, and also brought along, the drainage reports, so
Oh, thank you.
there's 5 sections.
You have to look through and make sure that the application, pretty much everything is there.
Yeah, since I think I had a chance to review the application and make sure it is complete. I actually did this yesterday.
Okay.
Here. Sorry, John.
No worries.
This is that little yellow spot over here, right?
Yes, oh, okay. That's-
That's what the cabinets, you replace the sales cabinets.
Oh, oh, so it's this you don't have? Okay, well, I'll share.
Who's property was it? Owned by,
Yeah, I don't
Can't
know.
Love Homes?
No,
Yeah, I
no,
looked
it's
through the
next to
application
him.
as well, and I believe Mr. Bernard said he had a drainage report,
I have some, yes.
and you have elevations for your
I
new
do.
building?
I do. Drainage reports, I have 3 copies here. Actually, I had 2 because Steve just borrowed the third one, so.
Okay.
Now I have, go ahead. Is this third
Water
one?
goes down.
This is
Um,
updated as of yesterday, you said?
Yes, it is, and these plans are updated as of yesterday too, and I think there's little changes down, but there are 4 sets here. Yeah, this is interesting, okay. They take up a lot of space, so I don't know how you guys want to handle that.
And we have elevations as well.
Yes, here's the elevation, right here.
No, I know you have those elevations, I'm talking about what does your new building look
Okay,
like?
I'll show you.
A profile of your
Yep,
building.
I have that.
Okay.
So what you're asking is, what's the height of this gonna be, right?
Yeah, what's the height?
Yeah, this is 14 feet, it's a 512 pitch, so it's probably gonna be another 7 feet, it's 21 feet high.
Okay.
Okay, with the drainage information here, do we have, does anybody want to make a motion that the application is?
I'll make a motion to accept the application as it appears to be substantially complete.
I'll second that.
Alright, I'll second it. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now you can start.
Let me follow along through this.
So the intent of this plan and the meeting is to show a restaurant to be built on 215 Laconia Road. The light green is the outside boundary. The darker green is the paved area. Anywhere between it is green space. We have 66% of coverage on the lot. You're allowed up to 75% coverage on the lot. The building is 2,205 square feet. It's 35 by 63 feet. There are 27 parking spaces. We've included a dumpster location. We've included 2 handicap parking spaces. The drainage system, which I think is going to find interesting, and maybe you will too, it's an underground stormwater infiltration system, which is basically 8 feet down. You dig up, almost like you were digging up for a foundation, or 8 feet down. You lay down this layer of rocks, you lay down these pipes that drain over it, and then you bury it again and you pave over it. And what they did is, the last time, if you remember, I did it for a 25-year storm, and I went to the Conservation Commission. They said do it for a 50-year storm. Well, I used the same engineering, and he did it for a 100-year storm. So he's gone over and above anything that may happen. So you have the catch basins here. You have 5 different catch basins that will receive the water and take it down and drain it into it. Now you can't do this on every lot, but on this particular lot, the way the soils are extremely well drained, it's suited for this type of system. So that's the basic design. The lot size is 0.55 of an acre, or 23,997 square feet, I believe. I have to read that to make sure. Yes, 23,997 square feet. The amount of lot coverage, like I said, is 75%, which is 17,998 feet. And what we're proposing is 15,850 square feet. I think I got all those numbers right. The other thing is that there is a storage line here, so we're bringing the storage line up, and we're working with the water line to bring the water line. It's down here about 300 feet, so there should be city water and storage on this lot. Trying to think of some of the other key factors that I would like to point out. Okay, the abutter that's over here, the gentleman here, as I spoke with before, we're very sensitive to him, so we put the building on the other side, away from the house. We know that this lot is already developed as a commercial lot, and will continue to go back because you're not allowed to go back to residential lots, so it's be a commercial lot, so we brought the building over there. Our thinking with that was to, any of the traffic that comes in, the lights will always be pointing away and never be pointing at it. If we were to slide the building over to the other side, it would come at it. We're also proposing, and this plan doesn't show it because we started to get too busy, but we'll have another one that will show the greeneries that we'll put in, and that's a hedge fence all the way along through here. One that will be thick enough so you won't be able to see through it. We're proposing that. The back side of the lot will remain treed here. And he also, one of the things that I didn't really get to talking about, but as I was reading about it, we were proposing to put the snow removal down here. He didn't show that. He shows that all of it will be removed from the site. We will make a notation though. Some of the snow will be put down here. If there's anything that's over that, we will remove from the site. What else can I point out here? The parking, these numbers are up here. They represent the parking spaces. We have 3 up here, 13, 4, and 7. You may note that this one is crossed off not as a parking space, but you need that so people can back out and turn out. When I was looking at the plan today, one of the other things I'm just bringing up, it looks like these elongated parking spaces, more than 20 feet. But really what that's supposed to do is just draw a line to show you that they are 8 feet wide. The two handicap ones are 8 feet wide because they have a third row in here. All the other ones are 9 feet wide. And this one is a dead space, so if you bring a van in there, or you have a handicap or something like that, they actually have an additional 8 feet to get in and out of the vehicles. These right here represent ramps. This is a sidewalk that walks around here, and these are ramps for the handicap parking. What they hadn't shown on here, which we need to do, but we hadn't, he didn't know exactly where the doorway would be, so you can see that there's a green space through here. At some point, we need to have a little bit of a paved area right through here to show where the actual doors will be to get access to the restaurant. I think that's it for my opening statements.
John, what's the seating capacity of the restaurant gonna be?
Well, as I've read today, if we go by the new zoning ordinance we have in space, I think they could have 50 seats.
What does the fire department say?
That's, we
For
haven't,
seating.
yeah, we'll have to talk to them about that.
Is there anything on the property now?
There's a house that will be removed.
It's in the upper
No.
right-hand corner, we're looking at it
You
here.
may have a plan that actually shows where
Yeah,
it
you-
is.
One here,
Yeah,
right
you do, John.
There you
That's where
go.
it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's on that commercial lot? I'm having a mind blank right now, on that side.
Yes, that's,
Caps,
No.
truck cap.
Is that the truck cap?
it's right next to the truck cap.
That's what I was thinking, but I just was, is it
Yeah, I don't
possible?
know, maybe they show it this way on the plan. Sometimes I can orient myself a little bit better by flipping this upside down, but it's the way the words are. We used a 10-foot setback all the way around. That's the narrowest point. Back here, this goes up to 35. 17 is the closest to the rear, and this gets to about 17 in hand, but 10 is the closest we have to the parking for setbacks. And we know that we have to go to the ZBA for that, where it shows a 50-foot setback. And if you take a look, just out of curiosity, if you wanted to see, we actually have a plan that shows that too. Here's one of the houses in the dotted line shows this would be the only area that would be allowed for building if you stayed with the part zone.
Have you talked to the sewer commission yet?
I have. And actually, the storage commission is saying, can we have it right of way? We'd like to bring it out to the street and we'll pay for it before you start to develop the lot. So I said that I was amenable to that and we're working together on that. They had some kind of a meeting. I don't know if it was a formal vote or not, but they had a meeting, said that they want to do that.
What about the dumpsters? Are close to anything on the abutters property that might disturb their life, I guess?
Well, he's here, so we'll ask him.
Are you gonna have a fence around that?
Yes, you have to put a fence around a dumpster right now, and
Yeah.
you put little plastic slotted things in there,
Yeah.
so paper bags don't get out of it. And, that, I did ask about that location too. I considered it over here. It kind of messes up the parking flow when I do that.
Yep.
So,
Well, no, the only thing I ask is because the prevailing wind would be west, so the trash smell would be blowing onto the abutters property.
right.
What lighting?
Yeah, we haven't really gotten to that yet. But it'll all have to be downcast lighting like we say on any plan.
I didn't know if you indicated where the lighting would be.
No, we haven't got to that yet.
Okay.
And you got a DOT curb cut application?
I do have one.
No, oh, I'm sorry.
That was my question.
Oh, okay. The operation, you're saying this is a deli and a restaurant.
It is.
Is this someplace like you go in for orders to go, or you can sit there and eat, or
Yeah, it's.
kinda like Subway or something?
Well, I think
mean-
it's gonna be more of a, the only way that I can explain it to you, if you've ever been down to New York City and you go into a deli down there, or not, maybe not New City, but in the city, but like New Jersey. You pull in, you get out, you can order a cheesecake, you can sit down and have a nice meal, you can get takeout. I think they'll do all of those things. Almost all businesses do take
Yeah,
a multifaceted approach, so I wouldn't want to say other than.
Is there, I mean, that plan that you showed before, it showed it a range, is that what it's gonna be?
That won't be the name, but it will be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know what a range is, so
Yeah,
that's why,
right.
so,
They're hoping to design it after how they do it.
okay. So there might be table service and.
Right. There will be some table service, and it's usually a mix, I mean, you usually go into those things, they have a line of booths that they sit down and a few
Yeah.
tables.
Well, I don't know, I mean, you can cross it between the Papagenos and then you can say,
Yeah.
because they have tables and then you have, you know, something where they have a little bit more. You know.
Right, I have somebody that I'm working with on it,
Yeah,
and it's taken me a long time to get here because I've been doing other things.
For that
So
too.
I'm still hoping that they're, the last time I talked to them, they were still interested.
Well, I guess the only question I have is, now your general size of your restaurant here is very similar to what 99 is.
Is it
Right,
really that big?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But there is a huge difference in parking,
Right.
And on a half-acre lot, that's what.
yeah.
I'm surprised that that building down there isn't twice the size of this.
No,
You know that?
that's the old,
I know it is. It looks so much wider than 35 feet. It looks like it's like 50 feet wide by 80 feet.
I don't think it is.
I don't know.
I mean, I can go and look it up for
I'm
you.
kind of curious if it is. Do go
I'll
on.
go look it up.
I'm not saying you're not right. I'm sure you
Yeah.
are. I'm just like,
I'll look it up.
what about ventilation?
okay. She's gonna look that up, and we're gonna continue with any other questions.
What about ventilation and exhaust fans from the restaurant?
Yeah.
Again, downwind,
Right.
neighbors smell.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to do all that stuff. I mean, it's, I'm sure that it goes up towards the back, the kitchen's towards the
So
back.
it's not gonna be above the building necessarily, it'll be more out the
I
backside.
would think it would be, yeah, because that's the kitchen, would be the back area.
Oh, no, but sometimes they can exhaust to the top, and then you're gonna have the smoke, again, I'm just thinking of the neighbor prevailing winds blowing.
You know, it's interesting, because I spend so much time on it, the prevailing winds will be in this direction
Yeah,
here. Kind of down towards the track more than really like right at them up here.
yeah.
It would be down this way in that direction. But hopefully it smells good, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
No,
he
when it
comes in
starts
next
up
year,
in the
he's,
morning, it's not gonna be.
It's not good in the morning.
Every morning I smell chilies, it's terrible.
Yeah. We've tried to, think about all the different possibilities that we could do, and this was kind
is
of,
the line against caps, is it all treed and, like,
all the trees are on my property.
okay. Well, no, I'm just thinking again, looking at the exhaust and
Yeah.
noise and things like that, if you have an office right next to that building or something.
Yeah, this is over here, and I'm sure, that place is caps for now, but as soon as they have a higher and better use of it, it's.
Oh, as soon as Taco Bell comes in, it wasn't,
There you go.
They've been in town a lot.
yeah, no, but they'll come back.
Thank you.
I give you one little clue, you're sitting on about 120 feet of sand and back.
I know, is it 120 feet?
Yeah, my well is 146 feet deep, and it's only 20 feet in.
He's,
50.
I'll tell him that when we get to over it up, because that's interesting, because, when they went to put in the storage line on the other property, they had so much sand that was caved in, they couldn't even get an edge without an additional expense.
I just thought I'd let you
Yeah, no, that's, I like that, actually, it's good to read. And then I have to watch it.
Twenty-first ended up being a holiday. Remember when I was discussing with Joe?
Yeah, so now I do.
Yeah, because the two,
No,
there's two holidays, one in January and one.
Yeah, I want to
I wanna find out.
Actually, I have
So that's
that.
why it's in,
Okay, that's
That one's
right.
dead first.
okay?
John,
Yeah,
that's the issue, but
you're right.
it's just a nuisance.
Okay.
As I said, I looked at the calendar because I couldn't remember why
John,
we
John,
moved it to, originally it should have been on the
Okay.
21st.
Yes.
the drainage, so
And,
from the,
in
from
January,
Route
I
3,
have
things
a-
all the
after a
drainage is
while.
gonna come towards those
January, I
stone
have a
drains,
problem
it's not,
because that's usually the week I go snowmobiling.
Ooh.
And I have this
So
one,
99
that
is
one.
twice the size of
Yes.
what he's got here.
My husband already put in for a vacation. I was
And
like,
John, the other thing, you said
Well-
approximately 50 seats, and.
Well, I was, actually, what I was saying
Everybody
is that
else
if I
could-
read your new regulations, that's what would be allowed, approximately 50 seats, 52 seats or something like that. We have 27 parking spaces, I figured you'd put 6 for employees, right? And so you're gonna have the other ones designated for customers. So that's, under the new regulations, that's about what they could do. Now, I'm under the old regulation, but
Yeah, but you still wanna know that you got enough parking for
Right,
everybody
yeah.
that wants to leave.
I just went down that road, I don't wanna go anywhere. We looked at this plan in several different ways, actually, we looked at a little bit longer building, and as soon as we made this building much longer, we started losing parking. So
Right.
it's a smaller building with more parking than really what probably will be used. And I think that's a better choice, to have more parking in a smaller building than have a bigger building. Well, they haven't opened it up, but he was just talking to me, this is the abutter, and he was saying that they have 120 feet of sand next to, the lots are all sand, 120 feet down. It's interesting that he says that, because my story that I have, when they went to go put in the hotel next door, they started to put in the storage line, but they weren't equipped, I guess, at that time, they didn't have the right trench box or whatever, but the sand just kept falling in, because there was so much sand there. Well, I guess what I'm really getting to is that this drainage system is really gonna be ideal for this site, that's all I'm trying to say. Not that that really is a big point or a bone of contention, but.
While I look this over, should I open this up to public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just wondering if you have
No, no,
any
just,
input.
You're the public.
Not this time, thank you, Richard.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?
No, I think it's fine with me.
Just pull it forward.
I'm not gonna stand in anybody's way. And, you know, and the way the parking's gonna be, you can put a hedge up. Like, that's fine.
What do we have in place to protect the abutters if, like, the lights after it's built are shining in his windows and such?
Well, that's code enforcement.
Yes. Well, we can also make it a condition, he said he's gonna put up the hedgerow, we can make it a
Right.
condition.
That hedge is gonna go the whole length.
Right, the only part of the, good question, because I thought about that. I don't know if we'd bring it right up to the edge of the road, you'd probably start it back a little way, so you have
Right,
visibility.
right.
But other than that, we'd go the whole row. I mean, I wanna be a good neighbor, he's been a good neighbor, so I'm gonna put in a nice hedgerow for him that.
Where's the sewer? The-
Storage line is right here, and it would come down here
So
first.
it'd go right with it, that.
That would
edge
go
line is
in there
gonna-
too.
Yeah, that would go in there too, and they continue it down through here. The other plan showed it, but I'm still working with
So
them.
if it leaks, it'll feed the plants really. So-
So
Let
this
me big
line,
trees.
this line running across, that would,
Well,
no,
we could talk about
over
this
this
line.
way.
This one here
Yeah.
would feed this building.
Okay, that would feed that building and
Right.
then you'd still
Then
have
they'd
one.
continue it down here, they'd put another manhole here.
Yeah.
You would also be, if you ever needed to, but we never will, because those septic systems, the sand just never goes bad on those. But if you ever did, you'd be
Yeah.
able to hook into it too. And why they wanna do it is they wanted to make access for a few other businesses that they know will come into this area.
Right,
How-
sorry. This right here, is this like a raised,
It is, it's a raised walkway, like 6 inches, so
Okay.
when people get out of the car, they can walk down through here,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
same with here.
okay,
Yeah.
How do you deal with the sewer line in the railroad tracks?
You go under it.
You just go under it?
You come, the company comes in, they bore under it, it's an 8-inch pipe, and it goes down through it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, I know, it's one of the things that, you know, you gotta bore underneath those, and I said, I know, and there's like 3 different permits you gotta get, and it's a kind of a lengthy process, but like I say, the hotel went through the same process and brought it out, they were supposed to bring it the rest of the way, but what I have heard is because of the way the sand was falling in the hole, and when they did bring it out, they were gonna run right into a telephone pole, and if you ever have to move a telephone pole, they're very expensive, like $100,000 to move a telephone pole. I believe Lucky Lenny ran into that same issue when he had to move, where they were asking him to move it back because they wanted him to have a turning lane. Well, I thought that was excessive, but I heard the same story about the other one. We don't have a telephone pole right where we're gonna come out, so I'm gonna sneak by.
Would you have the same problem with the sand?
Right about here.
Yeah.
They can do it with a trench box, if they,
Oh, well, why did they use a trench box? I mean,
they weren't ready for it.
It was,
You have to have everything there ready to do it.
it was extremely active sand is what they were saying.
Yeah.
I don't know, I never heard of such a thing either, but that was the story.
Yeah, it
Well,
drives-
I've seen it, I mean, you
Yeah.
know,
It drives the cost.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, it got cost prohibitive, and then, even when they did it where they were coming out, they were gonna hit a telephone pole, which was, I guess that, the combination with the sand falling in and the telephone pole just made it, and again, I didn't know anything about it until I started to say, hey, how come they didn't bring it up when they brought it across the track?
And how many parking spaces?
We have 27 parking spaces.
Yeah.
On that,
This sounds about
does,
right.
on that storm, I mean, is it like a box and it drains underneath there, or is it, I mean, does it go in, I mean, is it like,
I can explain that to you, and
I mean, I was reading it, but I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
dry.
probably not gonna be able to explain too much more than what that does, but what happened is you have these different drainages here, right? We have 5 different drainages, and the lots all slope, so the water goes down into it, and it goes down into the pipes and drains into here, and it feeds into a distribution box. The distribution box just works just like a leach field.
Right.
But instead of it having sand, it has rocks underneath it, and it spreads out into these plastic fiberglass boxes or trenches that go down, and it trickles down and fills up with water. I guess they're used everywhere. I'm not sure what they did at Lowe's, but I know they had to have something like this at Lowe's. I'm not really sure how theirs was designed. Does anybody remember from when they did it? Their underground filtration system?
Oh,
Lowe's? It was-
it's quite elaborate.
Yeah,
that was
they
a-
needed scrubbers and.
Yeah.
And again, in most cases, this is, in town, we design them to be for a 50-year storm is what they require, and this one was done for a 100-year storm. I think it's a great concept. I mean, I see some of the other properties where I've used up a lot of space making these retention ponds that end up growing cat and nine tails and stuff and not really doing a whole lot for people. So I think that if you have the right soils and the right conditions and you can do this, I think it's a great.
What about the aquifer, is that underneath there, or is that?
No, Steve, the aquifers are, that's really referring to places where water drains down like the winter storm, right?
And turn around, there's
Oh,
an
nice.
aquifer
Yeah,
map.
we'd have to look at the aquifer map.
I'm
It's right
trying to
behind
look at-
John,
Behind-
Okay.
you're right in it.
I'm in an aquifer?
You probably are.
Looks like the whole town's in an aquifer.
Pretty much.
A lot of it is, yes.
Okay, so yes, I'm in the aquifer.
Well, you have a plan very similar to what the hotel put in next door.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. And they have, the drainage, and then around the outside edge, they had, to where the water would run to the outside and come around and go into they had some kind of a big retaining area in the back underground.
Yeah.
For the water to disperse through. But
It's similar to what this is.
it's a big hotel.
Hampton Inn.
Hampton. I guess really my only question is, without knowing how many tables you're gonna put inside, my only concern would just be 27 spaces is not really all that many spaces. As far as, I realize your building's only 2,200 square feet, and, 99 is 4,400 square feet, so it's like twice the size, but they have considerably more parking than what you do.
They have a bar there too.
Right, well,
Yeah.
that's, something else, if you're gonna have any kind of bar service in here, but at 50 tables, daily pickup, is there a plan for that? I wouldn't think that if you were going to go in that route, 27 spaces is even close to sufficient, because if you have 50 spaces and the math is 2 spaces for every, or 1 space for every 2 people,
Right.
there's 25 right there, plus 1 person for each person on the staff, given the largest, you get enough parking for 2 people on your staff.
Right.
So it's not quite
It'd
sufficient
be like
in that.
25 tables.
Yeah.
So you may
I
have
don't
to-
25 tables, it's per
Yeah.
seat, so it'd be 2
When
seats
it's
per
50
table.
seat, it's about a 50-seat restaurant or less, so.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to, I'm sure you're gonna have some 2 tops and some quad, 4 tops and stuff, so.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like
Your border.
very borderline, yeah.
Right. That's, again, and that's with the new regulations that you have.
Yeah, well, it says 1 space per 2 seats plus 1 space for each employee on the largest ships, so you figure each table would sit 4 seats,
Right.
so.
Well, I think that's something you'll have to sort of nail down a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously, there's
More,
gonna be
yeah.
some zoning, some ZBA questions in here also, I mean, with the lot size itself and the setbacks, et cetera, I mean, obviously gonna go there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, so I mean, trying to nail down exactly what the seating's going to be.
mm,
That what you're trying to nail down?
yeah.
I know, I'm kind of a little bit evasive on that one, aren't I?
Well, I mean,
Well,
You are.
honestly, I'm like going, well, I don't have to fit under those new regulations, I'm under the
Yeah.
old regulations, that's why I came in and went and had the abutters meeting for the last one, so.
well, I understand all that, but it's not going to do you any good if people want to come to your restaurant
Right.
and can't get a parking space.
It isn't.
So what you do inside will directly relate to how many people or how many spots you're gonna need outside for the number of people that might come in. If you have, say, 15 tables, you know, you have a better chance than if you say, try and put 50 tables in
I
there.
don't even think 50 tables would fit.
Well, I was
would it?
gonna say, that's not a
Be
lot of
25
room.
tables.
You know,
No,
the
no,
kitchen's
it's
gonna-
not tables, it's seats.
It's seats,
Right,
well, the
seats.
kitchen's gonna take up
Yeah.
what, a third of it?
Maybe the way to approach it is to, and I'm just throwing this out as a
Yeah.
suggestion, is to put a maximum limit on it. And then, once you get your tenant in there and they figure out exactly what they want, if it's a little bit different, you come back to the planning board for the issue of addressing, you know, the tables.
Seating and parking.
Right,
Yeah.
that
Well, you
particular
have
part.
to, you have to realize that in the restaurant, you're gonna have two tops, and then
Right.
you're gonna have a booth that may seat 4 people.
Right, a
So
family
that
of five.
one booth is gonna be 2 parking spaces, because it's by seat.
Right.
It's not necessarily by tables, cause
Right,
you
it's by
could, you can only
seats,
have
right.
15 tables and still get 60 people in there, if you think about it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, right, no, I get you, you could have, you know, a counter where you have 15 seats on it, and,
Yeah,
And
That's
there could be
seven
15 parking
cars,
spaces,
right?
yeah, right.
well, that's not 15, that should be 7, right?
maybe. It could be 15 though,
It could
depending
be.
if they all came in separately.
Yeah, I agree with that, there's a lot of variables to it.
Right.
It's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, it's a wonderful.
You know, the real bad problem is you got one car parked here, and you got 70 seats, and there's one person in there, that's a bad thing.
John, we can work on that.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
I've worked.
insurmountable.
no,
That's what they call him, Gordon Ramsay.
Put in two pool tables.
you know, the
Yeah,
other
a couple
thing that's gonna
tables,
dictate it
pool
too is
tables.
the,
They attract
police and fire, I think you only get so many people in a
Right,
particular building.
you're going to
too,
have a-
and
You're gonna be
that-
limited by certain
Right,
things.
so you're gonna get hit with a lot of different things that are gonna
Yes.
control the
Right.
amount of people you can put in there.
But you haven't been to the fire department at all yet?
I haven't done any of that yet, this is,
Okay.
there's a million places I have been, but that isn't one.
Okay,
So I'll go to the fire department, the police department, and
when did you plan on going to the zoning, have you given it any thought?
I have, I'm actually, Steve is supposed to put paperwork in for the next meeting if they,
Okay,
that's what.
It's due Friday.
it's due Friday.
Steve, it's due
Friday?
Friday.
Friday. It's due Friday.
He's known for a little time.
John, so you don't plan on having a bar in there though, right?
A deli, no, I don't think, I mean, they'll have like
Anything
a,
else?
not a bar, but they'll have a bar that you sit and have breakfast at, I'm sure,
I'm
like
talking
a,
about-
So no-
yes,
no booze.
alcohol, I don't,
A diner, a diner.
yeah, I mean, they, I don't know, they sort of,
So you're gonna serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
I'm not
Yeah,
serving
bingo.
anything.
On
It's like it's like the
property, your property,
There's a
okay,
diner part
Tasting
there,
menu.
so, yeah.
alright,
I will close for public discussion.
alright. I'm going to suggest, and this is only a suggestion, the board can do what they want. I'm going to suggest that we continue this case to a date certain, with the understanding that, before he comes back, he meets with the fire department, he meets with sewer and water, as far as what they're going to require, that he meets with the ZBA. And then when he's got those out of the way and he has more of an idea of what it is that he's, because I don't know how we can, I don't want to restrict him, but I'm saying to myself, 27 parking spaces is not very much. So it would be nice if when he came back, he could give us a better idea of what he wants inside, so that we know whether or not the 27 spaces are going to be ample, or is he going to have to make some kind of other arrangements? And I am sure he understands because, as he said, he's been through a lot with parking on another
Yes.
property, so.
I,
Parking garage.
Yeah, right, 3/4, not allowed.
Sorry.
But anyway, that is my suggestion, that we continue it with those understandings, that he will go and meet with these other people, and that,
DOT curb cut, he replied for.
He
I
said
applied for
he's
DOT,
applied that.
I've gone to the storage commission, I've gone them, they've given me their blessings.
okay,
So, but
what about water?
I'm meeting with them the 14th, so I'm going,
Okay.
I got that all set up for the 14th. The only places that I haven't been that I need to go is the fire
Fire,
department and
yeah.
probably the police department. Usually you go to both, but
Yeah.
I'll go to one, I guess the fire department, will probably get the police department involved, but.
Yes, well, the fire department is very important because they're going to tell you what your building capacity
Right.
will be,
Yeah.
and they're going to look at it from whether or not the fire and emergency equipment can enter the site, how they can move around.
Okay.
You know, that's all, part of their process.
So I think I've done, I mean, when we talk, not to try to confuse the issues, but when we start talking about the storage, it's not just the storage commission that I had met with, which I have met with.
Well, you
I've
also
already,
have to-
I've
right.
gone down to Franklin, to
Yeah.
the Winnipesaukee treatment.
Right,
I also have to go to DOT because they have control of the railroads.
right.
I have a multiple of permits that I have to
Right.
get, so I'm in pursuit of all those.
Yeah.
When they come, they come.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, there's, I mean, obviously, we can give you an overall approval that says all state, federal, and
Right.
local permits required.
right.
But there are some that we wanna know that you've seen, and that if there's issues or whatever is worked out, whatever conditions that are placed on you, that we then know, like with the fire department, what are they gonna require of you,
Yeah.
if anything?
Yep.
You know, I mean, I don't know, it may be that your parking lot is ample, that they can get in there and move around and not have an issue. But I don't drive those big rigs, so I don't know. You know, and that, I guess that just brought up another question, is where does your delivery trucks, have you given any thought as to, are they just going to pull up at off times, or,
That's usually how it works.
you know,
Usually
as
morning
far as
times,
stocking
yeah.
the restaurant?
Right, I mean,
Yeah, you don't have a 40-foot trailer that'll pull up to that to unload.
They come right in the front door.
Oh, I realize that, but you could have customers in there, you could have a almost full parking lot and still have people arriving to drop off deli meats and.
Yeah, but most restaurants will tell their purveyors that they don't
Yeah.
accept deliveries between 11:30 and 1:30.
Right, so, but these are just different thoughts that have gone through my head.
I guess what I'm looking for is that you kinda like the plan, the plan looks okay to everybody, or?
I have no real problems with your
Good.
plan, I mean, you have a few things you need to do, but, you know, my only concern, if there is one, is just making sure that you have enough parking for what you're
I
going to do
understand,
there.
I don't wanna create something that's a problem.
Oh, I know, you've already been through
That
enough.
was.
Okay,
Very good, thank you.
so what is?
We have January 22nd,
Yeah,
which we already have one case in a public hearing.
okay,
Do
what's
you-
the first one in February?
February 12th.
February 12th, is that too late for you?
No, I think that's fine, I have a lot of work to do, and
Okay, February 12th
I think that works.
at 6:30.
30.
No, that's fine, I mean,
Is that okay with you? That way it gives you ample time to see the people you need to see, and we'll be getting the feedback like we usually hear back from the fire.
correct.
We'll hear from the water, we'll hear from the sewer,
Okay.
and
Good
if there's
seeing
any,
Same here, Gus, thank you.
I'll
that's
be getting
primarily
to
it.
you probably.
And you would have had a chance to go see the ZBA, so,
Which is a big one, I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
yeah.
after reading it, it's like, I still have to go to the ZBA. Because, I mean, can't help it.
Yeah, you have to go.
Yeah,
It's really driving
I mean, if we waited for. You still have to go. Right, we know it's there.
So this gives you time to do all this.
I'm in complete, agreement, and thank you
She
for all
says he
your
seems to be
cooperation
getting
and
better.
time again. I'm glad that we're starting to.
It's gonna take a while.
Thank you.
I heard a rumor, and you tell me, but I heard it just passed the Hampton Inn. They could put a little sign into Bernardville. Just saying, I don't know.
Gaslight Village is changing its name.
From Bernard, from the,
I take that as a compliment.
from the Hampton Inn to Lancaster Hill Road. I was looking for a sign like that.
I put one up on my neon sign just for you, you know?
I know somebody makes them.
Good night, everyone, thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Take care.
Bye, Bob.
I know.
Nice seeing you too. Take care.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Take care, buddy.
There.
We kept up
Or is
to
he
date.
just like, public road?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just getting
No,
a coat.
no.
You're lucky you got a good neighbor, huh?
He's great.
State Farm.
Really.
He maybe one day he'll
Are we supposed to keep these or
Where?
decide these out
Yeah.
I'll
and
keep
give
them.
you more parking.
Right. That's-
John, are you keeping, are we keeping all of that?
You can keep them all. I'd like to have one copy. I think there's 5 copies there or 6 copies. This is the only ones I have, so I just want to take the one with you.
Is that what you want there?
Yeah, checking. No, these are 2 of the same. So
Okay.
let me just grab them.
Cause I had that 4 o'clock, I had a
Okay,
shot
I'll
on
take that one and this one.
Maybe sir.
You could probably put in a wall
Hey, your chiropractor place looks really good.
Thank you. It seems to be working well. It hasn't really been any, now we're sharing parking like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not working out good.
Are
You
you-
got your easement now, so you
Yeah.
can get that done.
Are you, is the other lot open, or are you done with
We
this?
took those trees down, Lionel, we talked about, and one of the trees that we took down was completely rotten inside. So, thank God we got that, because I would have had upset neighbors that time.
That's not it.
Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Thank you. You know what I did not think of them, is one of those copies.
Here. Yeah, and we have the
We
other.
have 2 other ones, yeah, okay, cool. All right, good night, guys.
Good night.
Oh, yeah, it was right over my backyard. I had a Tomcat.
Is that a real thing?
That plane-
They're actually not fleas,
I
but
think
they're.
this will work out better, because I
And
was
it
sitting
was
here
like
trying,
the asphalt, the,
you know,
put
there's so
there.
many unanswered
No,
questions.
No,
This
that,
evening.
I think it was almost like a conceptual.
Yes.
That's really what I was thinking, you know, that there was too much was undone. You know,
I
I've made
lost it
some
when you said
notes
it were
here.
50 seats, and it's like, I mean, instantly the math doesn't work out.
Right.
So-
But now we have something to go with.
Well,
Well, what did he say he
adopted
was
it.
under the old, under the old?
That's why
Because
he
he
came
came
in
in and
before.
did a design review before the zoning changed, which protects him for
Oh,
3
he-
years.
So the zoning hasn't changed officially.
Right.
Right,
Right.
this is just a conceptual change
So
for
he can
us.
put 100 seats in there and still have 27 seats.
Yeah, well,
No,
that's not
because
gonna work.
we still wouldn't, we wouldn't approve it, because even when we didn't have parking, it was still at our, discretion, the fact that, no, you haven't got enough place to park that many people, so you can't do it. We won't approve it.
I actually don't think, given the size of that, with kitchen facilities and display facilities, I don't think you get 50 seats in that size.
No. Well, what I was thinking about is, when I looked at the 99, I looked at all their calculations. Now, they have, I told you the size, it was 4,400 square feet and change, whatever. But they have 164 parking spaces. 154 for customers and another 10 for the employees that will be on duty. That is significantly more.
Yes.
And, you know, even if you took his and multiplied it twice to bring it up to the same size, he's still very deficient in parking. So, you know, that's why I asked, well, is this more like a place, you know, like the Subway shop? You go in, you order something, you usually
Get out.
leave with it.
Right.
They do have a couple tables in there if you really want to sit, but mostly people just go in, get what they want, and take off.
Cause the new Subway is gonna have seats in it.
Yeah, well, most Subways do have a couple of seats, a couple of
They're
tables.
trying to make it more like.
They're
almost
trying
like
to make
Starbucks.
it more
They have sofas,
now.
like the one
Yeah.
in Lincoln's got sofas and.
Yeah,
Sofas. Oh,
but
yeah.
anyway,
Keep
so
bunnies up
that
there.
is the one thing that is kind of a hang up with me, is like, well, just how many tables or seats are you gonna try and put in this thing?
Yeah, I agree, it was.
Yeah.
Of course, you could always. go to
50,
the neighborhood.
27 parking spaces, that math just didn't fly. Even,
No, it
you know,
doesn't.
even on the unadopted, math that we've
Right.
got there.
No, if you look at
it wouldn't work
this.
in a natural situation.
Cause even this is saying one space for 2 seats plus 1 space for each employee.
On a larger shift though, so if he has 6 employees.
Well,
Still,
even-
he'd have enough room for 2 employees on his largest shift.
Yeah.
If you back the number down.
But I'm just saying, you know, that's what we're gonna have to watch, is how many
Yeah.
seats does he think he wants to put in there?
And I think it's great just, you know, to have the guideline. I mean, obviously, it made its presence known today,
Yes,
you know, just in this, it's a great, I love the concept of the deli, it's a, you know,
Yeah.
but it's gotta work,
yeah.
it doesn't work.
So you need the places, you know, if somebody's running over there at lunchtime to grab a sandwich and go back to, you know, wherever they work, or go out to a picnic table somewhere because it's a nice day, you wanna know they've got someplace, enough places to park to run in and do that.
And that
Would be
raises
able to
another
get-
interesting question.
Wouldn't be able to get out of there in time to get back to work.
Well, interior, this didn't even come up, but, you know, interior seats, he said 50, right? Granted, okay, he's guessing he's probably using a number larger than he could possibly get away with, just to sell it to a developer.
I don't think
That's
you
fine.
do outdoor seating.
But
There's no
what
room
if
for
somebody
a-
wants to hit the, you know, grab a sub and grab a picnic table out back, which has some green space that he may or may not in the future put,
Mhm.
that's gotta increase the seats.
But it's still going to, he needs parking for that, it's not like people
Right.
are leaving the
No, but I
site.
don't think,
Correct.
it's trees back there, and
Yeah, he's leaving it woods in the
I
back.
don't see it.
Yeah, 'cause the railroad tracks are back there too, so.
Yeah, but anyway, this is my, I mean, as far as what he wants to do with it, what he's got there, I have no issues with anything, I just question whether or not he's gonna have enough parking.
What I would see is him doing is, that's a snowmobile corner, you'd be getting a snowmobile business off of that
He
corner.
could.
Well, they can
Which
park
isn't
in
a
the
bad
very
thing.
back, they don't even.
Well, they just
need-
park right along the trail, I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
would-
parking,
right.
I mean, not that
Yeah.
that runs all the time, but eventually there'll be a, bike trail back there too, won't there?
Yes,
I think, yeah, bike and
the
walking
walking
trail, right?
trail.
Yeah, so I mean,
Gotta continue, right?
you know, there's,
Yeah.
there's more seats that you could potentially have, and I guess that'd be
Yeah,
another
that's-
gray
Bikes don't take
area.
up parking.
But they wouldn't
They have seats.
necessarily need parking.
No, but it's just something that,
But anyway, that's
Think about.
what we have to think
Very
about,
true.
but I think it will also make a difference once he's seen the fire department.
Mhm.
Because if the site is too tight for the fire trucks and emergency vehicles, then he's gonna have to
That's a
make
done deal.
more room for that,
Mhm.
which could cut down even more on
Yeah,
that.
I see that as one of his most serious problems at this
Yeah,
point,
me
the
too.
fire department.
well.
I just want him to say,
Leave it
no,
alone.
we're only gonna do this, we're only gonna have one counter, and it'll only hold X number of seats, the rest of it is in and out, then I can live with that, but if he's gonna try and put a lot of booths in there too,
Yeah, right, it's too much for the site.
yeah.
For the size of the property, the parking
Yeah.
choices, and that doesn't become functional.
Especially considering, you know, he's going to the ZBA, he's going to ask for 10-foot side setbacks instead of 50. He's also going to need setbacks in the front, because that's 30 feet normally, and he's not going to have a full 30 feet, so.
Area the size of this table, at least done.
Yeah.
mm.
Well, an ice cream shop.
Not even that.
So anyway, I think, you
It
know,
worked out for him, but
Yeah.
it's a neat, you know,
well, I want it to work out for him, I just want to make sure that he knows that, and we know that he's gonna have enough parking without having another mess there. Okay.
all right, so, moving on to other business, because
That was February what?
12.
Well, that's
2
right.
days before St. Valentine comes.
I'll put it on the table right now. I won't be here for that meeting on February 12th. I'll be in Las Vegas.
Nice, we're going with you.
Oh, poor you. We're gonna miss you.
I didn't have to say what.
Show off.
Yeah.
This one gonna be the week before that.
Where is that?
Sam Key, Clearwater, Florida.
Uh-huh.
I'm missing
I
out.
want your job.
Just a traveling fool, huh?
So, has anybody had a chance to review the minutes from the December 11th meeting?
Yes.
And do we have any comments, changes, or adjustments to said minutes?
I feel like I would look at you. This guy.
Did that guy come before the ZBA yet? That Callahan?
No, he hasn't been back in, haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I've not seen him.
doing this side, oh.
I think he won't be back probably till spring, you know?
Right.
Cause right now he's got boat store there anyway, so can't do really
He's
anything.
got some nice stuff inside there. Wow. Also nice cars.
Oh, yes, yes, I saw him putting cars in.
If you ever wanna go for a ride, break it.
They don't know where it is, but they can store my car.
Why is it taking so long for the sergeant to get into this gaslight village?
Their board has to approve.
Yeah,
Oh, the
Gaslight Village
Village.
doesn't have any incentive to do anything.
They just wanna make money, but they
Yeah.
don't wanna do a lot for it.
Yeah, I know somebody that lives in the village there.
Well, part of the problem, you know, is unless he brings something, we're not really authorized to approve anything on their lawn. You know, unless, I mean, what he brought us a blank, agreement, lease agreement, but he could have gotten that anywhere. It
Online.
wasn't signed by them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like he
It
says,
didn't-
he
it
didn't
was
wanna
just a
enter into it
generic.
until it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
till he has it, because he doesn't wanna pay them.
Right, so
Yeah.
he brought a generic lease agreement, and we have not gotten anything from any of the principals at the mobile
No.
home park saying that they wanna do this, so.
You don't even know what he's gonna put on, maybe when he says sheds or whatever, but
Well, I know,
That's what
but
he says is not.
but he also
no formal
said that
plan, yeah.
related stuff, and what does that mean? Is it gonna end up like a junkyard? You know, what are you gonna put there?
You can
Yeah.
see it.
yeah.
And that's too visible a spot.
Yes,
If people drive by, they don't wanna see a nightmare that is bad enough as it is, but.
but now he's talking about, you know, that they're all upset because we wanna see where parking's gonna be and this and that, but that's part of the site plan.
Yeah.
What
Well,
did
it's
they
also
think was-
protecting the residents of Gaslight Village.
Yes, but, you know, I don't,
Traffic in the area.
yeah, so, I don't know,
Guess what, that's our purpose.
yes.
If somebody has any corrections, I would make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All agreed?
Aye.
Right, motion accepted.
There you go. What else wanna do?
Correspondence.
Correspondence. Let's see.
So who thinks that John is gonna put a restaurant up where he's cleaning off the parking lot by,
Oh, and the rest of his land there?
yeah,
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, he's got something going on there, but. Oh,
yeah.
Well, he's taken some of the trees down to make room for the little walkway and,
Oh.
of course, his parking lot over there.
Yeah.
What he does with the rest, I guess we'll find out when he does the site plan, won't we?
He's a lot of stuff, yeah,
It's
thanks.
so much going on all the
Sure.
time, you know.
Go you.
Anyway, going on to correspondence, we have received on December 13th a request for project review by the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources in regards to Ernie's Auto property, the EPA Brownfields project,
Yeah.
96162501. I haven't had a chance to read this completely, but
I think it's basically, isn't that from our engineer? They're
Yes.
filling out the paperwork and they're
Richard
just,
Vandenberg, yeah.
yeah,
Oop,
Oh.
sorry.
and all that's really doing is they're telling that it's a filled site, so the odds if there's anything archaeological are very nil because there's almost about 20 some odd feet of fill on that site.
Oh, okay.
No, but that piece of paper did, if you flip it over, did ask for, some type of a completed form for
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
historical building
Right.
inventory.
Right.
It's,
Historical building.
It's something that everybody has to do before you redo a site.
they should just take pictures and shit.
Yeah, well, they could take pictures now.
Yeah.
We
Better
had
do
a
it quick.
thing going on over when the building was
It's
gonna fall
falling
down.
quickly.
Yeah, sure.
That
is.
little tree finally gave up the ghost, that side came over.
I think everybody was happy about that, it helped.
Yes, it's that much more that's down.
Let's see, Liberty Utilities,
Mm-hmm.
natural gas safety information, public official that did this. Wish I had time to read this. I think it's just an notification or information
About
about natural gas and utilities on the
And the little thing
Availability.
that scratch and sniff about the amount, what they put in there so you can smell it. I scratched one and I went, oh, that one's going in the trash.
Let's say it's officially been scratched and sniffed by a local town employee.
Yeah.
Legal notice, Town of Tilton Budget Committee public hearings, 2013 budget recommendations at town, the Tilton Budget Committee will hold a first public hearing on Wednesday, January 23rd, 2013 at 7 p.m. for receiving public comment on fiscal year 2013 Budget Committee's recommended budget. Anybody needs to know more about that, we can talk to Mr. Pyre here.
Well, one thing we have to do is, the CIP stuff that, this board has to go over, and if they're going to recommend it, a copy of it has to go to the budget committee and a copy has to go to the selectmen. So like for what Joyce had submitted for, CIP for the, island, to start putting money away to fix the, the foundation in
Foundation for that,
front.
yeah.
And of course, the police with their radio equipment and.
None of which we've received, but,
But anyway, that has to be done, if it doesn't get
Oh,
turned
I
into
have it,
both.
but I have copies of it.
okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but, we're running kind of behind times here, but if we're gonna have it part of the vote this year, it's gotta be in the budget or it won't get, taken care of.
We have a newsletter from New Hampshire Food Plain Management, Food Lines. Anybody wants to read this? Oh, floodplain management, sorry.
Are you hungry?
So
I was gonna say, what was
No, I should put my
that?
glasses on my eyes.
I was
No,
like,
I'm-
food plain. Me too, I was like, I don't remember putting that.
Are we opening a food bank or something?
It's okay, Rich.
Yerkes Surveying Consultants, you want to proofread that for me too? Corrective boundary and topographic plans, this 570 Laconia Road.
570, isn't that one of John Bernard's?
Yeah.
It's from here to
Laconia
here.
Road around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More John Bernard.
Mm-hmm,
So that's in here for our review.
okay.
It's a nice blue piece of paper.
Yeah, that's at the end of it.
Like a nice blue piece of paper.
Mm.
That's all for correspondence.
I lost my old correspondence folder, I think somebody packed it up and took it away, I couldn't find it.
You should use a new folder once a year anyway.
Yeah.
See the purple.
That's all for correspondence. All right, so, let's see, final review of master plan.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do that tonight? Do you have your master plans with you, or?
Has everyone read through the chapters and made any corrections that need to
No
be done?
corrections.
The only thing I was going to suggest is, I got a little piece from the recycling committee, a master plan on the chapter for our future hopes and dreams. I really feel we need to put a little something in there about the recycling. They're working at it, like I say, this is just a short little thing. But I was going to add it, I think, to the vision statement. Put something in there, so that would be in there. But, I just wanted to pass that by you guys first before I just stuck it in there. But I would, I thought that the vision statement would be a good place. That's our future hopes and dreams, and that I think would fall into there. There is just a little blurb in one of the, I can't remember which one it is now, but anyway, I don't know if we're gonna try and do all this tonight, or if you want to, what do we have next time?
Next time we have Mr. Sargent, maybe. And we have the second public hearing for changing the zoning and now putting the definitions in there.
Okay, well, why don't we just not have anybody else come in? Mr. Sargent shouldn't take all that long.
Actually, this is closed, I was just holding it tonight to see if we had to have a public hearing, and I'm gonna send it to the citizen in the morning.
Okay,
'Cause
but
it
make sure
should've
you
closed on
add the
Friday.
additional, when you send that to the, just add the additional definitions or,
And I'll put
Yeah.
down what they are, and I'll
Right.
have Tim add them to the website,
Yeah.
like we did before.
and then that way we just have the two and we can spend most of the time working on this so that we can get it finished.
And then the master plan review again.
Yeah, and then that way, maybe then we could schedule a public hearing on the master plan.
For February.
Do we meet at the end of February?
There's a second meeting in February.
We do meet the end of February, but I have a problem with that, and we're gonna have to work that out.
What's that?
We have a meeting on February 26th. And, my husband's scheduled vacation for February 25th, 6th, 7th, 8th, for the last week of February, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. 'Cause I got ZBA and,
Oh, that week?
yes.
I don't know if she still does, but Johanna used to fill
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I can ask. But that's what we have is February 26th.
Because then when we get into March, now we're talking town meeting, so,
We don't have one March 12th.
right, cause that's
That's town meeting. I haven't been scheduling anything on that day. The
Mhm.
next one would be March 26th. The master plan could go into then and because after town meeting.
Oh, yes, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, the public hearing for master plan could be up
Right.
in March.
No, there's no question, I mean, this is approved by the board, so it would have nothing to do with town meeting, so.
No,
But more important right now, I mean, not that this isn't important, don't get me wrong, but is to get the CIP stuff that we've received ready so that that can be part of the budget process and get on the ballot.
so we probably should do something.
Why don't we have you gone, has anyone seen these applications now?
I can get them.
Oh, I'd like to close the public portion. of the
Yeah,
meeting.
you can do that, yeah, so we don't forget.
Right.
The public left you this
We
one.
can close it. They left us.
They chose it.
That's what we had for. I had made copies of I made a bunch of copies of police. That's Joyce's, I didn't make that one.
Oh, this is for the island.
Yeah, that's for the island, that's a resubmittal for the island.
Yeah.
Keep going down.
Oh, that's yours, one. Just
Here.
one more.
Oh, this is a,
No, this is the
there's
police
a
department.
police department.
Oh, okay, well, just
Yeah,
one.
this is the police department,
Well,
yeah.
so-
I don't have the island, I hadn't copied the island.
Oh, well, that's all right, I was just gonna pass it around I've already seen that one,
Okay.
so I was gonna pass
Pass
this
it
around.
around, just make sure I get it back.
Yes,
And then,
Holy crap,
and then the highway, you want me to pass that one around?
the highway, that's going in,
That's
we
going
don't-
in anyway.
Yes, he does that every year.
Yeah, so it's kinda not,
But what we
Been
were
more than
gonna
3
do
years.
is, on the highway, now,
like Joyce was telling me, there's no debt service to these, they're just, funded out of general funds or,
right,
right,
every year for highway, he has his 10-year plan.
and I think they put away 15,000 last year for the island. I think,
Yes,
too.
that was for the hiring of an engineer to get a plan. But if we start putting monies away, I mean, the Board of Selectmen is still working on how that's going to work out.
Because of the dual ownership.
The
But
dual
didn't we have it
ownership
The
and,
last town meeting, didn't we voted it up and Northfield voted it down, right?
right,
Correct.
Yeah.
but we went ahead and voted it to have it in there regardless of how it went. In years past, we've said, well, if it passes there, can we have it pass here? But we've been doing that for years and years, and it's just not working out. So, we care very much. We don't want to see the island get washed away. It's worth it for whatever it takes to get it fixed up. I'm not sure what kind of an agreement we're going to come to with Northfield on that particular thing. But obviously, whatever it is, I mean, we're going to be working on it, so. But, you know, I don't see any reason why we can't start putting money away for, the island repairs if we ask for so much every year in a warrant article to go into this account. Worst case scenario is if we can't come to an agreement and, you know, then the money would just get returned or gone back to town meeting to ask to use it for some other.
So if we put $15,000 away last year, we didn't use it, right?
It's in its own account.
So, and then if we had $15,000 this year, then we have $30,000.
Right.
In there. Okay.
So, you know, it's kinda like with the roadways, we have an account now for road repairs and stuff, and every year we put anywhere from, a couple years we dropped down to 40,000 because of the economic times. But now we need to come back up and get that built up, because every year, certain roads have got to be.
Well, he's got a 10-year plan in there.
Yes,
He
he
does,
has his
yeah.
10-year plan, so that 10-year plan will go into our CIP and become part of that. And we continue to, you
He has
know,
roads and sidewalks, I think, for his
Mhm.
10-year plan.
he also has an equipment.
See, he got a 12-year equipment replacement.
Yeah.
Starting in 2011.
Yeah.
And he has, the 10-year road construction plan
Right.
starting.
Yeah, I actually made my own spreadsheet of that and put it by year to
Mhm.
see how much he's looking for each year, what roads are gonna be done.
Right. And then
Yeah, those
also
are
he's got one in here on a 10-year plan for state
You
roads.
just like doing
Your tape recorder just shut off.
Oh,
You have CDO, don't you? Did you have no CD to other folder?
No, no, I sat all day. I've been driving people around all day.
There's no news on there.
So anyway, those are the applications that we got in for this year, and it's really up to this board to make a recommendation on whether or not it should go to budget and whether or not it should go to the selectmen.
well, it's gonna go to
Normally-
both, right?
Yeah, it has to go to both. In the past, there have been times to where, I remember the first couple of years that we did this, we received several applications. You know, more than what you would ask the voters to support. So we went through all the applications, and in fact, you were part of it too. And then we decided after discussions and meeting with the people and stuff, which ones would recommend and which ones we wouldn't. And that came back to the board, and that's the way it happened. It just so happened that year, the voters turned them all down, so, you know, it just, but anyway, this is all we have for this year, so it's, you know, something we need to either recommend or not recommend. You know, I hate to skip the whole committee part of it, but we're running out of time. And we didn't receive that many applications this year. So.
It was pulling teeth to get what we got.
Huh?
It was pulling teeth to get what we got.
Oh, I know, but hopefully in the future it will work out better.
Project justification. Many of the
This
older radios
is
are
highway, if
beginning, and
anybody
some
wants
have
to look
already
at
been
highway.
Beginning to be.
Oh, that was just a plain application, I think.
Yeah, this is Joyce's.
So if you use this one here, in 2012, each
This is
town
police.
the city received portable radios through its state DHS funded grant for only 50% of the agency's employees.
Okay, so you said you don't
How many
have a copy
offices do
of
we
that.
have?
Yeah. What happened to that? Oh, she got the highway.
Yeah,
Well,
she
there's
has
10
highway
for
right now.
cars and there's 12 portable,
This
so I
is the
guess
police, it looks
Yeah.
like the original.
Yeah, that was.
they're not all on duty, they're not, a lot of them are detail cars and things like that. But they still need to have a radio in them.
Right.
So there's like 2 frontline cars, and then there's the chief's car, and you have the supervisor's car, and then you have the detective's car.
Right, but this would also work out the same way. It would become a capital reserve account for the money to go in. And then when the time comes that he needs those radios, then he doesn't have to raise it all in taxes. It can come out of his account. You know, so it's not such a big cost at
There's
once.
this one paragraph in here, it says in 2012, each town and city receive portable radios through a state DHS fund to grant only 50% of the agency's employees.
Yeah.
So does that mean that the radios actually cost $150,000?
They're quite expensive. And it's
Sure.
not like you can go to,
There's only one place to get them in the
you
state,
know, there's only one place.
so you
to-
can't get bids.
Yeah,
Crazy.
kinda like our cable service.
I have DirecTV, so I don't care.
Do you like it?
I love it. I'll give you my account number if you ever want to change, so I can get.
Me too.
Because we're giving serious thought to.
I've had no,
cable.
I've had no problem. My cable box went once and they stripped me a new one.
Now, have you had dish before?
I don't have Dish, no. I had MetroCast and I switched to DirecTV.
Okay.
Is that
Just
free?
for your video, did you get a chance to that too?
No, I still keep my internet through MetroCast. Couldn't get it with high speed.
All right, so what do you guys think?
There's this pizza.
Do we have to vote them individually, or can we do a blanket?
Well, make a motion. Worst case scenario is we'll say, what are you doing over there?
I'll say make a motion to accept or to recommend that the selectmen and the budget committee get the proposal for the island project, for the police radio project and the highway department.
Don't we already have a proposal from the police department for
Now, that's, she's making a motion to recommend giving that budget, those proposals to the budget committee
Mm-hmm,
and the
We
select
can review them.
to review.
okay.
So
And
I'll
we-
second.
That's okay.
We talking about sending all of them to the budget committee, or are we looking at them individually?
Well, we've looked at them and we're recommending, the motion was to send each one, the three of them, to the budget committee and the selectmen
Okay,
for consideration, yes.
that's good.
Seconded by Sandy, all in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so you wanna take care of that tomorrow?
Yeah, Joyce and I were gonna work on that today, but we didn't.
Special
I was
meeting
running
is
out.
tomorrow, too. Oh, they're on.
Joyce
It's
wanted you
right
to know too that she will, help you get the, CIP, updated so that, you know, it's all
Yeah,
ready
that
to
we
go.
were going, we was.
We don't have to re-vote it in, it's
No, I know,
there, it
I
just
know.
needs to be updated, it hasn't been.
Yeah,
Did you meet the specs?
Yes, we'll put it right in.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
well, we have to close the public hearing.
We
We're
did
done
that while you
Oh,
were
yeah.
listening. Yeah, we did.
We did that while you were in the other room.
Is there any others out, now, any other proposals? For CIP? Okay. Okay, so I guess,
Hearing no further discussion, there's a motion on the floor to.
second.
You have to wait for her to say something.
All in favor?
Aye.
I thought he said motion to adjourn.
No, you didn't say the adjourn word.
Actually, I was gonna say, since it's already been seconded, I was gonna say motion that we stick around for another hour and a half to do nothing. But you beat me to the punchline with adjourning, so darn.
Well,
Oh,
you know, if
shucks.
you wanna hang around for another hour and a half, that's fine. I will
Full
not.
words, that's no-
Anybody want to order any Girl Scout cookies?
No, say any what?
Girl Scout cookies?
Jason.
Yes.
Sandy, who's, got the
Good.
welfare office here?
You got top line
Heather
66,
Tippett.
see if you can top that.
Yeah, she's
Give her
over
51
for.
bucks.
I guess I can turn this off now.
Here every day?